Hello again, YouTube. This is Joe, the 50-something Dasher, and this is part two of my two-part series on how to be successful with DoorDash driving. Or a lot of this information could apply to the other apps as well. But I wanted to clarify, and I didn't fail to mention this in the first video, but what exactly do I mean by being successful? Well, like, take me, for example. I feel like I've been successful enough uh, in with regards to DoorDash driving. So I started out as part-time, and it was a long, a learning process, and I had to work my way up to a certain level, certain status within the app and everything, and to get to where I'm at now and the kind of money I'm making now. And I am now in the process of transitioning. I'm going to be here soon doing this full time and going part time at my W-2. So that's kind of what an example of what I mean by being successful at this. Okay, so the first topic here in the kind of more like intermediate type of advice I would give somebody that's new to DoorDash driving is I wanted to talk about acceptance rate. Okay, so if you're wanting to do this on a regular basis, part-time or full-time, I'm not going to say all markets here, but in a lot of your markets, you're probably going to want to be on platinum status and be able to dash anytime. My market is not a market where you couldn't have if I wanted to be full time, I'd need the platinum status. I would not be able to just not have the platinum and accept 10% of my orders and make full-time type of income. That's not happening. Now, some zones might be like that, but the majority, I would have to assume you probably need that platinum status. Okay, now on acceptance rate, something that I've talked about. Now, I should mention that, like with me, by virtue of being on the DoorDash Community Council, I'm a lifetime platinum status driver. So I don't have to meet the acceptance rate metrics or whatever. I'm stay on that for life. But leading up to being on the council, I was I think I was a platinum driver for a little bit, but before that, it was the Top Dasher program, and I had to have 70% acceptance rate. Okay, and I maintain that consistently. Now, something that I do and that I would recommend that you probably I haven't heard other gig tubers recommend this as far as acceptance rate, but I actually had like three different levels of criteria for accepting orders. A lot of your dashers just kind of stick with one type of criteria, and that's what they stick to. Well, I had criteria for like 70 below 70%, and then other criteria for accepting orders if I was currently at like 70 to 75, and then more lenient criteria if I was over 75%. Like, for just let's take a basic example here, the minimum $2 order. Okay, even if let's say I got a $2 order that was only a half a mile. Okay, if I was above 75%, then I wouldn't take that order at all. No matter, even if it's just a half a mile. 70 to 75, I probably still wouldn't take it. But under 70, if I was fell under the 70%, I would take that order. So it for me, as far as the, and this video would go on forever if I cited like all the different types of examples, but basically I had, the my highest of standards for taking orders, I stuck to that if I was above 75%. Okay. And then once I started, but I didn't want to get below 70 before I started changing my criteria and doing something about it. Soon as I got down to 74, then I started changing my criteria and loosening up and taking more orders that I wouldn't take above 75. So whatever system you come up with, I would advise a like different sets of criteria based on your acceptance rate. And I'm telling you, like, it worked for me, and I think that would work for anybody. And the other thing I wanted to mention for my, this video is, folks, adapt, 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 adapt. Okay. That's one of your biggest keys to being successful in the longer term, with DoorDash or any of these apps. Please adapt with the changes. When I first started out, I had to wait about, a few months. It's probably 4 or 5 months. And then I was able to get into the large order program with DoorDash. And my income, the amount of money I expected to make was started getting a little bit easier to get with the catering orders. So let's say back at the time, my goal was $100 to make in a day. Well, it started to get easier to get to $100 once catering orders started getting thrown in the mix. Well, guess what? Catering orders, for the most part, kind of went away for me a while back. And then, but grocery orders started, and shopping orders, higher paying shopping orders, started to pick up and be on the rise. And that kind of, for me personally, in my situation, in my zone, the catering or the shopping orders kind of replaced the catering orders. And right now, that's where I make my money, is on the shopping orders. And I'm willing to adapt going forward in the future, whatever the next change might be. Let's say for whatever reason, shopping orders start going away. And let's say, I don't know, let's say alcohol orders start becoming popular on DoorDash for whatever reason. I have that turned off right now. I don't do alcohol orders, but if that for whatever reason started becoming a thing or whatever, then I would turn it on if that's how I needed to make my money. I know I haven't seen it in my zone yet, but there's talk of DoorDash starting to do something kind of along the lines of Amazon Flex, where you would go to some kind of facility and pick up small packages and 20 or 30 packages, and you'd be given a route of stops to drop those off. If all of a sudden that became a popular thing on DoorDash and I could make more money doing that than the grocery orders, then I would change and adapt and start doing those orders. Also, kind of to, as far as adapting, kind of to a lesser of importance extent, would be, I would talk about where you wait for orders. So I have three pickup locations in my zone, and in my early days, there was one area that I used to wait for orders at breakfast time, and I'd go somewhere else to wait for lunch orders, etc., etc. Well, that things like that change as well. So the one area that I used to pop all the time for breakfast for me, it doesn't anymore. So I had to adapt with those changes. How it is now today is I wait here at home for orders a lot of times because I'm centrally located in my zone, central between those, three pickup areas. So right now, this works. Here 6 months or a year from now, if I stop getting orders or offers here at home, and I find that I have to go back out to the pickup areas again, then I'll do that. Whatever you need to do to change and keep up with what's going on, that's what you need to do. So if you're gonna get into a set way of doing things and not willing to change and be real rigid on how you do things, chances are there's a good chance you're not going to be successful for very long doing this. But anyway, that's all I have for this video. Hope this helped out in some way to some people. As always, thanks for watching. Be sure to drive safe out there, and we'll catch you at the next video. Thanks again.